Hey everybody, it's Bruno. If you want to be our next guest on AndB, click on the Be My Next Guest link below. Hope you enjoy this episode, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
That's right. What's up, you sucker? What you looking at?
I'll say this. In all the work that I do with individuals or even teams, one of the things that I have I strive to do, and that dates back 24, 25 years, is what I call, and it's a word that doesn't exist, decomplexify. What happens is that, like when you talk about mega information, there's a lot of the material that is put out that further complicates the situation for somebody who says, you know what, I want to go there. And what I have found in my study and working with people is that the more simple, I say the more simple because I really mean it. You have to work at simplifying the process so that the person doesn't get thrown back, like you're suggesting, that a lot of people kind of say, okay, I'm going to go on that path, and then they find, holy cow, I can't put in all that effort, because they are grounded into the complexity of it, as opposed to saying, okay, I want to go, we'll say Timbuktu. How do you get there? Well, there are different ways that you can travel, but before that, you have to think in terms of having the resources to do it. And, like, do you want to get there in 3 years, or do you want to get there in 8 hours? And all of those factors need to be integrated into the thinking so that the process becomes aligned with what the motivation and the desire is. And of course, like, I can truly say that the people that I have worked with that have just exploded in the way of finding their way is because they worked at simplifying their travel, their journey, so that they did not get all mixed up and confused about what is it I'm supposed to do now. And once you start simplifying the process, it becomes a lot more feasible. Effort all the time. That's an I'm thinking in French. You can't get around the fact that it takes work. However, if you make it simple, then you can get there and keep your motivation up. And therefore, that's what the basis of what I do. And that's why when I say this right stuff in the right amount at the right time, it is based on the fact that you simplify the process for yourself so that you don't get caught in those costly curves along the way. I like to go back to quotes and dictums about that kind of stuff. And one of them is used often, is the idea that, for instance, excellence is not a destination, it's a way of traveling. Happiness is not a destination, it's a way of traveling. Reaching, and it's funny that you bring up this business of aiming for a number, because I have another client that is from a foreign country, came to Canada and felt that he had lost everything because he's a doctor, and when he came to Canada, he's from a regulated profession, therefore he can't be a doctor. He has to reinvent himself, not go through the tests and all that kind of stuff, which is mighty difficult, or else use his knowledge, skills, and abilities acquired through his career to divert himself into a travel or a journey that he can undertake and knows he's going to have a chance of succeeding. When I started working with him, first of all, he had to get out of that funk. He was, like destroyed. Well, we're only 2 years down the road, and he's well on his way to his stated vision of the future, which is to own a $200 million company and be, of course, self-sufficient. And all of this, as this happened, I've helped him to get off, this complex, convoluted travel that he was looking at, and says, this is going to take a lot of work. Yeah, it'll take a lot of work. Like you want to build an empire, somewhat a little your empire, but you can do it in a simpler way. And if you do that, using your skills and your acquired abilities and all that kind of stuff, you're going to get there. The idea is you have to lay out a process and follow it so that you don't, like in my book, Aim for Life Mastery, I talk about going from A to B. The shortest distance is a straight line, but life is full of costly curves. And the idea in peak performance is to reduce the amplitude of that curve, those curves, so that you take the minimum amount of effort to get the maximum results.
Well, you know what? That's pretty much all the time we have for this episode today. Thank you for tuning in with us. And you know what? Make sure you subscribe to our Megapix Media channel so you will never miss an episode. And also, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. We have content almost every day. So thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you guys soon.